Alright, so I'm gonna go over really what it took to LS swap this. And I did it really the cheap way. So starting off with the engine. Some of these 5.3s come with an electronic throttle body. I got rid of that and put a cable driven throttle body. Because when you put an electronic throttle body in one, you'll have to get a weird electronic gas pedal that I couldn't fit in, so I just kept it cheap, ran a cable. All right, so second goes to the headers. I found these dirt cheap shorty headers on Facebook for like 20 bucks. You could maybe find a deal like that, or you could just use stock manifolds. I just went ahead and got some headers because this motor did not come with manifolds. All right, so moving to the transmission. Like I said, keeping this on the cheap. So I have a NV3500 out of a 90s model Silverado. I went to the junkyard. I got it for like $75, dirt cheap. For the drive shaft, it's a GMC Yukon drive shaft. Again, super cheap. I still have the stock 4-cylinder S10 rear end. Probably not the best idea, but I have yet to put a bigger rear end in it, and it's holding up just fine. I just don't beat on it a lot. And with the transmission, to mate it to the motor, it really just bolts right up, but you'll need a 4.8 flywheel and then just whatever clutch for an NV3500. And another problem with some of these cars, like GM vehicles, is the ABS. It'll cause like a whole problem once you get it all done. So I just got this, I think it's a proportioning valve by Wilwood. That was probably like $100. So you can just run all your brake lines to it. And it makes it pretty simple. You can turn this valve, or knob, and you can control like how much brake pressure goes to the front and the rear. Just kind of makes it a lot easier than dealing with that ABS. All right, so moving on to the ECU and tuning. So I still have the stock ECU. We just kind of made it a standalone harness and mated it with the S10 body harness. That is what is kind of hard. I had somebody do that for me. And with tuning, your best bet, depending on what you do to the motor, if it needs tuned or not. If it's stock, you don't need to mess with the tune, but say you put a cam in it like I did, you'll have to get it tuned. So your best bet to do is take it to someone that can tune it on their dyno. That'll run you probably $600. And before you take it there, make sure you have everything is good on the vehicle. You have no exhaust leaks, nothing wrong with the motor, so they can just throw it on the dyno and go. And like I said, I did some motor stuff to it. I put a BTR stage 3 cam, so it required tuning. But I ended up just buying HP tuners and a laptop, and that ran me about $1,000, and it's definitely difficult to learn how to tune something. So that's just something to keep in mind with how you should rather just take it to someone that can tune it. And also when it comes to the ECU, if you don't really feel like messing with the ECU, the stock ECU, I don't blame you. You could always buy a Holley ECU, and that'll be like right at $1,000. And that is really everything you need to get this motor running. Plug and play, ready to go. Just need to get it really tuned. Another good thing to do with these motors, depending on the generation of the block. So I have a Gen 3 block, and the rods really aren't that strong in the Gen 3, so I put Gen 4 rods. I put all new bearings, all new gaskets, just to make sure this thing was all good when I got it running. All right, so moving to the oil pan. So I kept the stock oil pan, and I don't know if it's hard to see, but I had to cut a notch out of the piece of frame that goes like in the engine bay underneath. Just had to cut a notch out of it to fit it. But if you're down to spend the money, it's about $300 for an oil pan. It's the GM muscle car oil pan. It's just a lot smaller, and you can fit it in just about anything. So that's also something to keep in mind. Another little small thing, when you swap like an LS into something, you'll definitely need a better radiator. So I just got something a little bit bigger with 2 electric fans ran on it. Just ran right to a switch. And that keeps it cooled down a lot. So I hope this helps with anyone that's wanting to LS swap something. Let me know if you have any more questions and maybe I can make some more videos for you.